Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 2 days after Halloween, and we're here for an episode here at Fast Break live for IE Sports Radio. Your direct for always sports. On today's docket, we'll discuss week 1 in the NBA. We'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. With the good, some teams look good, some teams look all right. And in the case of Chicago Bulls, you kind of hit that panic button early. Plus, we talk about the James Harden situation. What's going to happen with him? Do they trade him? Do he stay with the team? We'll discuss the options that Philly should do. Plus, we'll go over the scores around the league and news that has happened throughout the week. But this is Fast Break, live on IE Sports Radio. Thank you for tuning in with us. Let's get started. And thank you for tuning in with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lots to talk about, lots to get into here tonight on a wonderful Sunday. I hope y'all are enjoying y'all Halloween weekend, if you want to say that. I kind of celebrated that yesterday at a friend's party. So the spirits are good. The Titans have won. And some reason they put the Bears in the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. But anyways, D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing excellent, man. My Magic is off to a hell of a start. So
heck yes.
I'm actually feeling pretty good. We'll talk about it, but the big blowout against the Houston Rockets to start the season off and come back and, beat Portland. Jalen Suggs looked great, but I'm good.
Well, that's good. Everybody's good. I like it. I like the energy. Let's get up and rolling right now. Week 1 of the NBA, sort of in the books. I mean, granted, it's on Tuesday, but we come here every Sunday, so kind of week 1's in the books. D-Lock, what has been your observations in week 1 so far in your eyes? Like, which teams look good, which players look good, which teams look bad, which players look bad or can get better? What are your thoughts so far early in the season?
Well, I start off by saying that one thing I've noticed early is Denver is Denver. Nothing has changed. Losing to Bruce Brown, they still look like that team that's going to cause issues for anybody. So not too much surprising. Jalen Duren is playing outstanding.
Yes.
I am loving what I see from him early. So for those that do fantasy, ESPN fantasy or whatever, if you can pick him up, if you didn't get him, he would be somebody that is playing outstanding right now. Another thing that's huge notice, like I said, my Orlando Magic, they look very impressive. I mean, when you go against a Houston team that we're having some expectations about, they blow them out, and they go play a nameless Trailblazers team that also Anthony Simmons did not play. So more work for Scoot Henderson. They play good. Franz Wagner is looking pretty good. Seems like they're working Jonathan Isaac again, but I'll leave that for later on down the road. I actually went to the Hawks game Friday night, and they played against the Knicks. And Trae Young was cold, literally.
Yeah.
And he has not got there yet. I think they're playing against Milwaukee today, I believe. But I literally watched, him try to have an alley-oop, but he had a chance to win the game. The alley-oop that he threw to Capella, and Capella just missed it. So for me, I think Trae Young needs to play better and will. That's another thing I noticed. Another one is the Bulls. they panicked early, like you said. I'm pretty sure you'll touch on it. They, struggled and then come back, play against the Raptors, and win a tough game, which DeMar DeRozan missed the game-winning free throw before overtime. So I definitely love what I see from Dallas as well. That seemed like that may work for them. Derek Lively is looking like a hell of a pick for them. So for me, also, I think that you may have. I think there are people in Brooklyn that's actually watching our show because Cam Thomas is starting to get a hell of a lot more minutes, and we're seeing what he is doing with those minutes. So there's a lot of things. I mean, like it's very early, and other teams that I'm starting to notice. Also, Porzingis looks amazing as well, but we already know the issue with him is we got to make sure he stays healthy. Celtics look like a team that's going to be very, very tough for anybody.
Yep.
They have pieces all over the place, and you get players like a Derek White coming off the bench and playing the way he is sometimes, even though he started and that game against the Heat. They have literally pieces all over the place. Getting Porzingis was probably a hell of a pickup. It could have been one of the biggest offseason moves this past offseason people will see. But I'm excited for the season, man. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of different things so far.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I think for me, let me get to my good. Like you mentioned about the Nuggets, I think despite losing Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, things, still in motion. As long as you got Jokic and Murray and those key other guys like Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon, I think you're fine. Like today they beat down the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like beat them down. Jokic 28 points, 14 rebounds for him. Peyton Watson, 17 points out the bench for him. A guy that was on the radar like that, but somebody since Bruce Brown left, you kind of wonder who's going to pick up that slack a little bit. And if you're getting 17 points off the bench from him, 13 for Christian Braun, I think you're looking good as a team. And also, shout out on to for Julian Strother, the rookie out Gonzaga. That kid can score. Not much defensively, but he can score. And this kid could develop very good. I think that's going to be another key piece for this franchise down the road. So, like the Nuggets, they're rolling. I do like what I've seen at Chet Holmgren so far. He looks pretty good. The Achilles injury, seemed like it hasn't slowed him down. He's not hesitant. So that's a good sign if you're a Thunder fan that at the gate, Holmgren has looked pretty good for your team. But, bad night tonight from Shai Gilgeous-Giddy as well. I do worry about that bench, too. For OKC, I know they got a lot of young guys on that bench. But I just you kind of need a good veteran right there to kind of help with that crew. But Denver, ho-hum as always. To go around the league, Damian Lillard seems like a good fit with Giannis. A guy that's not going to afraid to take the last shot. I know they depended on Middleton with that, and it worked. But now you kind of got somebody there that you're going to put your locks on first, and now you just slide Middleton down a notch. And I think they'll work out for that team, in tough situations. So Lillard looking good right there for the Bucks. I've been pretty impressed with Detroit. They're 2-1 right now. What's the kid's name? Thompson looks pretty good. I'm trying to pull up last game. Give me just a second. The Thompson kid looks pretty good defensively. I think we talked about it in the draft review recap a couple months ago. Like, the offensive game, he'll get there, but defensively, I think he's there. K Cunningham, good offer him. Like you mentioned about Jalen Duren, that dude's a monster. He's gonna be a monster. Alex Burks early on has been a good player for them. Like you mentioned about FanDuel or your ESPN Fantasy, whatever. Alex Burks is a low-cost player. So if y'all see y'all lineups, grab Alex Burks in your FanDuel DraftKings lineups because he's been a good play so far early on. But I do like how Detroit's been playing. The bad team-wise, the Bulls. After game one for them, they already had a team meeting. I said in a previous show, I said on free agency talk that this team had a chance to kind of get out of jail free card. Vooch's a free agent. Kobe White, Daniel DeMonstru. You got a chance to kind of clear some guys off your cap. Maybe trade DeRozan somewhere and kind of get a rebuild started. But they didn't do that.
Nope.
And now you kind of, looking at things. And yeah, they got that first victory against the Raptors in overtime. But, God, it was just kind of like by luck. And if you're already doing team meetings after game one, I don't know how the rest of the season go out for you. Zach LaVine had 51 points, no assists, and they lost by double digits to the Pistons. That's not a great look. And this is why, that stat line right there is kind of like what I've been talking about this Bulls team, D-Log. It's like 51 points, you lose the double digits to the Pistons. The Pistons are in a rebuild mode. Y'all are not. Or y'all don't want to admit y'all are not. Where do you go from there? What's the point paying all these salaries and one of your star players dropping 50 plus and y'all lose by double digits? It's not a great sign to the season. And I want to say if depending on how the season goes, would they be sellers? But with some of the contracts that the Bulls gave in the season, I don't know if they can be sellers. So I'll let you talk about the Bulls here, but I just like it's going to get more bad for the Bulls before it gets better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. I remember when we got all these pieces, I was one of the people that say that, hey, well, I think this Bulls team is going to be pretty good. I think that they're going to do a lot more damage because of the guys that they have. But it just seems like, they're already struggling and panicking in panic mode. They do, like you say, have the opportunity to just start from scratch. Patrick Williams really ain't do anything.
No.
It just, going to get a Torrey Craig. I mean, what was that big bonus? Going to pay Javon Carter. Remember, we talked about that. I thought that was a head scratcher. And you are in situations where, like I said, you had an opportunity to close the game out, and it took overtime, which it shouldn't have to be able to do that against Toronto. So, again, for me, I want to see more of what happens throughout this season. I mean, I guess you could say it's a good sign the fact that they had a talk early. So this is not something that they waited too long, or they started out already early. But to me, I believe that, if you're doing that, you're already in that somewhat panic mode. And when you see teams like Milwaukee, who look like Dame and Giannis been playing together for years, already connecting, the magic of coming around, like it lets you know that the Bulls got the Pistons. I mean, you got to make sure that you got all the things that you need and decide whether you can move forward with the pieces that you have. Because again, SGA had a hell of a game against them to start the season off. So again, I mean, they're sitting at 1-1. I believe that their next game is, I believe, tomorrow. They got the Pacers. We're undefeated right now, so actually they're 1-2. Let's see what happens when they play against the Pacers and how that goes. But again, they could have started over and got things figured out, but you got the pieces that you have traded for, so we got to get things done. And it seemed like Zach LaVine. I mean, this year's going to be very interesting because it don't seem like Zach LaVine is too much involved, in my opinion.
And wasn't it last year they were calling him out on that?
Yeah, I mean, that was something, because you remember he was in trade talks.
And that's another thing. It's like, if the dude don't want to be there, or if the guys he played with don't like playing with him like that, then it don't make all the sense to move on for him. And that's why, like, go back down and say it about the Bulls. If the teammates didn't like him like that, if you find somebody to trade for him, why not do that deal? Why sign him to a big extension? Like Marcus in the chat, Los Greg is saying in the chat. The Bulls are wasted DeRozan. DeRozan, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's satisfied being there, but I mean, at some point, he's probably one of the people to call the team meeting. At some point, he's like thinking, like, damn, I got 1 year left. I don't know if this team's gonna turn around. I shown on face that I want to stay here, but do I really want to stay here? It's a question that, this organization got to look at. Now, of course, we're talking about the Ryan stores. So, I mean, that's a different discussion, different day. But you DeRozan, like, do you want to stick around for this? And the way the Pistons look, they look strong. The Pacers, they strong. The Bucks, you know where they are. The Cavs,
right,
look pretty damn good. So, like I said in the preview series, I got them finishing fourth, but hell, it won't surprise me they get down to 5. In my eyes.
With all the pieces that they have, you would expect for them to be competitive, and it just, we're trying to figure out what the hell the issue is. And like I said, you got, I think what Caruso is coming off the bench now, so Kobe White is getting more run. So this team has to figure it out. And like I said, that's why I say maybe there is a good thing, I guess, in having a meeting early. But this team is another team with a lot of talent, but just not living up to those expectations in my eyes.
I'll leave it here on the Bulls and talk about other teams, but you paid $60 million for two backup guards in Kobe White and Javon Carter. You done that. Ayo, you gave him about the same contract. So that's close to $100 million or so for three guards that, one, Kobe White, you've been wishy-washy on since you drafted him. Javon Carter, solid guard, but, to pay him $10 million to do more, be a consistent role player is asking a lot out of that dude. And Ayo, still like a young prospect, but why when I see salaries, when I see salaries 10 million plus in the NBA, I expect these guys to be more consistent players. Sometimes you're gonna have off nights, but you expect 10 million plus dollar players in the NBA to be consistent. And some of these guys don't show it. So we'll see what happens with the Bulls. I think, this week we'll see how things shape out for them. But like I said, it ain't looking good if you're doing a team meeting after game one. Going around the league scores real quick. The Warriors, they're up on the Rockets 68-55. Draymond back in the lineup tonight. He has 2 points and 3 assists so far. Chris Paul to the bench. Klay Thompson with 19 points so far. Wiggins with 12. Curry only 6, but 5 assists for him. For the Rockets side of things, 13 points for Jalen Green. Goon, 13 points for him. Amen Thompson, 7 points for him off the bench. With Draymond Green coming back, D-Lock, to the lineup, how do you think this is going to shape things for the Warriors? In your opinion, Chris Paul going to the bench, how do you think those things are going to shape up for this Warriors team moving forward early on in the season?
Well, I had originally thought that he was going to be out a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
And now he's back sooner rather than later. I still think that, now you can run Chris Paul with that second unit, which I think is, one thing you want with your second unit is a captain to get them going. And I think that'll be big. Is it really going to be more about how Chris Paul takes that? Because for me, he has to be able to accept that role. That doesn't mean he's never going to play with that 5 of Steph or that 4 of Steph, Klay, and Draymond and Wiggins. I just think that if you have him run that second unit, is gonna do great, and it puts less pressure on the Steph Curry. So, as you can see, Klay Thompson is, I think, having a hell of a game, which makes you think, what the hell, how it's looking now with him being there and running with Draymond back out there. So I think the fact that Chris Paul will be with that second unit, I think that's a big plus. I think that's going to help this team hold those leads when, if Steph is out or Klay, is on the bench. If you got somebody that can bring that second unit and continue and maintain those leads, I think that's gonna do big. And also, you have somebody kind of to run the floor. And I can only imagine how it's gonna look with him and Draymond on the court. So I think that's a hell of a move. I mean, that shows more depth that this team is gonna have, and they're gonna cause a hell of a lot more issues with Draymond back in the lineup.
Yeah, I look at it like this. We talked about it when they acquired Chris Paul. You know, that second unit, those young guys, Moody, Kuminga, the young kid they got from Santa Clara, but who they haven't really played too much yet. I think, he'll help out those guys tremendously. 7 assists off the bench so far for him in tonight's matchup. Gary Payton has 12 points. Houston's going a little run right now to close the gap, only down by 7. But I think, to help with that second unit, and mainly I think to help close games, to be that setup man for Curry, for Thompson, and for Wiggins, in a pick and roll situation or alley-oop situations. So I think if those things kind of help and come to fruition, all that good stuff, I think they'll go a long way for this Warrior team. My only issue with them is the size factor. Do they have enough size to contend with these teams? Like Sagoon tonight, 3 rebounds for him so far. But, what about, you play Sacramento, Sabonis. You mentioned about Derek Lively in Dallas. He's come out pretty strong out the gate. So, those type of centers you got to play with. That also be a factor. Going small, for this Warriors team, it worked to a great extent. But also, it kind of hurt bit to the mass at sometimes too. But let me look at Draymond Green though. I think, defensively he's fine. But I think offensively, I think he's got to be pick his moments offensively to be effective. Like, you can't be like a Warner Bandit out there not doing anything to your team offensively. That means like moving at the basketball, make good passes. You catch the ball, don't look to get somebody open. You gotta do something to get yourself involved and your team involved. And I think that's what kind of has hurt this team in the past couple of years. His role on the offensive side of things. Before then, like with Mark, the early days of Steve Kerr coaching his team, and with Mark Jackson, he's like more involved in the offense and stuff like that. But it's just like lately, though, past few years, this is like he really, 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 really has taken a back seat. And I don't know, it's like a good thing or a bad thing. Kind of like a mix of both, in my opinion.
Yeah, and when you bring in a guy like Chris Paul, again, he's that quarterback of your offense. So you can do a lot more with it. Also, you have somebody like Chris Paul is going to come in and be able to dish out. We know as an assist man, like he's going to get a lot more people involved. And it's like it brings more dynamic to this offense that the Warriors are trying to run. So, you go pick up somebody like that. Now everybody else can, fulfill their roles a lot more. And I think that was the sole purpose of bringing in Chris Paul. Obviously, him wanting to start would be great, but I had always wondered how that offense run with Steph, a Clay, and a CP3, and a Draymond on the court at the same time. That was something that had me curious, but Chris Paul can take that role with that second unit. Guys like a Klay Thompson, can be more, involved more, get effective. I mean, this team is built different than when they had a Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was just there, getting his buckets when he needed. And obviously him demanding all that attention left, spot like, open Curry or open Klay. Now you have somebody who can run that offense, with Steph not necessarily being on the court. He's not going to just shoot; he's going to run that offense. So, I think this Warriors team that's a huge boost, and I think we'll see it throughout this year, because that makes they already are dangerous with the guys that they have. He's obviously seen, but hell, now you ask somebody like that, like it makes it a lot more challenging. Talk about it now. Steph may not be shooting well tonight, but hell, Chris Paul already had 7 assists. So, he's one of those that can come in and redirect things, not giving Gary Payton. Like, they have a lot of guys on the team, man. It's going to make it very challenging for teams going against, especially in the West.
Yeah, especially in the West. And I think through the regular season, I think they'd be fine. But, on playoff team, what we saw, like the size of getting to them. Sacramento, getting to them. Took in 7 games. Lakers, 6 games. Size got to them. And then if they made it past the Lakers and match up with Denver, I think Denver would probably swept them out like they did the Lakers. I think Jokers have been too much. And the way those other guys were playing the role players, especially Aaron Gordon, stuff like that, I think it'll be too much of a nightmare. Now, I think Curry has been a good answer to counter Jamal Murray, but those other guys kind of step up and counter Jokic. I don't know. Because if you don't got good counter against Murray, that's what make that Denver team so dangerous. So right now the Warriors up by 3 on Houston, 72-69 with 3 minutes left in the third. The Hawks, the team you saw play against the Knicks, they're up big against the Milwaukee Bucks, 83-59. 12 points and 12 rebounds for Clint Capella. Jalen Johnson, who's been a real great start for the Hawks, 14 points for him. 13 points for Dejounte Murray. Trae Young, 10 points for him. 3 for 10 from the field. 7 assists, though, could be a little bit better. 12 points off the bench for Bogdanovic. Sadiq Bey, 8 points. For the Milwaukee side of things, no Chris Middleton again. Giannis has 22 points. Lillard has 0 points in 23 minutes. So that ain't good.
That's good. We'll have to figure that out, because without a Chris Middleton, you would think that we will see more of it, but see how it plays out.
12 points for Malik Beasley. Jay Crowder has 0 points, and they're down by double digits. So if Damian Lillard can't get it going on right now, then the Hawks will probably pick up their first win of the season. But you went to like you said, you mentioned you went to the Hawks game. Trae Young hasn't shot the ball well, hasn't looked great. Do you think he can, with Quinn Snyder in tow now, do you think he can turn this around for the Hawks, or you think he's kind of done with Atlanta?
I wouldn't say he's completely done. I think that he can turn it around. But to be honest, I think one of the biggest things that he'll run into is the fact that DeJounte Murray is, one of the better guards in the league. He catches fire, then he's going to take his shots. And we thought this backcourt would look great between the two, but if one is ice cold and the other one is on a heater, we know who that offense is going to run through. Another thing that kind of makes me think that he could possibly kind of be done a little is the fact that they got so many damn pieces over there in Atlanta. I mean, Jalen Johnson is coming out, who I see him dunk on somebody, dunk on somebody at the game, by the way, which just look, the crowd went insane. He's playing extremely well, starting the season off great, as you alluded to. AJ Griffin also, and Sadiq Bey. So they have all of these, other guards, and you want your team to have depth, so your stars can kind of get there, but let the whole focus is not on them. But right now Trae Young is just starting the season off pretty rough. Now, granted, I believe that him having that tough matchup against the Knicks, Jalen Brunson is who we know can play some pretty good defense. I think that he could have played better against Charlotte, but with so many pieces, I think that one of the bigger players obviously is a DeJounte Murray, and when he does come in and he's starting to start his season off pretty well, it could make it challenging for a guy like Trae Young. But I don't think he's done with Atlanta, but I'm not gonna say like he's like for sure wanting to be there. I think he kind of, I think the Lakers are going to try to make a move for him at some point. That's what I think. I wouldn't be surprised if so. But again, and this team has obviously a lot of games left, and hopefully Trae Young does get back on track consistently. But he do have a lot of players around him that he has a pretty decent roster, and a lot of these ball handlers could, kind of impact how Trae Young plays.
Yeah, I think for Trae Young, I think it's wait and see. It's not a great start off for him. With new coach and stuff like that, because he's been leaked to not liking his coaches over time. So, and you mentioned about the Lakers. He is a clutch client, and D'Angelo Russell, he's been okay from the start. Gabe Vincent really hasn't gotten going yet. So I wonder over the course of the season, if Trae Young ain't up to snuff, or down the line we start talking about these stories about Trae Young again. The Lakers, trying to make a big move, get like another big three, get Young out there in LA, and maybe do something big there. I don't know. But we'll see how it plays out for him. They're up big right now. I thought maybe with Quinn Stoddard in the fold, it'll be more of a fit with them. And we'll see how it goes. I do start to wonder if the Young and Murray backcourt can work together? Can they stay together? Can they, find cohesion? And since his backcourt been together, it's kind of been, I don't say like a negative. It hasn't been like a big positive for this team. But they up on big on Milwaukee right now, so hopefully, getting this win may be a confidence booster for Trae Young and company. I do want to get to this team, D-Lock. The Sixers, they playing the Trailblazers tonight. It's halftime 66-60 for them. 50 points for Grant for the Trailblazers. Scoot Henderson, 2 points for him, 3 fouls already. He has not been off to the best start in preseason or the regular NBA season. 8 points for Kamara off the bench for Portland. Joel Embiid with 24 points, 9 rebounds in the first half. Maxey, 15 points. Tobias Harris, 12. Kelly Oubre, 8 points off the bench for him. But this all goes to James Harden. Reports have been saying he's been gone from the team for personal reasons for at least 10 days or so. He trying to come back. First game of the season on a road trip. They told him to go home or go back, whatever. Now, we discussed on the show recently about the NBA rest rule and all that stuff and the new policy they have. Harden's trying to come back to play. They said no. NBA's sniffing around asking questions. Now, as reports are saying today that Harden will be back at practice and be joining the team on the bench. But D-Lock, my question to you: how long does this go on for Philly and James Harden?
Man, I don't know, dude. This dude, James Harden. I think this is gonna go into. Then this goes into maybe late November, and it unless a team comes out and says, "Hey, we're gonna give up these pieces for James Harden," then right now it's very confusing how this is going. It just seems like they are kind of moved on from him. He's not showing up. He does show up. So again, a team has to come out and make that commitment to going to get him, and Philly has to accept that. So this situation is very weird, man. To be honest with you. I mean, we knew what was going to happen when James Harden said that Darren Moore was a liar. He would never play for him again. We both said that he should have been moved on from this, or Philly needed to figure out something. But this situation is bad, man. And I wonder what team actually, makes that call. What trade happens with it. So I don't see James Harden playing for Philly at all. I'll say that.
I think for me, it's just like the guys on the NBA and TNT. Kenny, to me, made the most sense. I mean, I get Shaq and Charles's point, being professional, showing up, all that good stuff, yada, yada, yada. And I think, they're right. James, he's been building a bad rep for himself. If he's not like the situation, ever since he got to Houston, once the situation go awry, that he wants to get out. And now he's after burning two places. I think he's putting himself in a lose-lose situation that he can't get what he wants. But with Kenny's point on TNT the other day, it's like, yeah, James Harden deserves some blame, but if he's trying to rejoin the team, why hasn't Daryl Morey trying to help put out the fire and all that stuff? If you're gonna stick around the team or trade talks are dead, why hasn't Daryl Morey put out the fire yet in this situation? And that's a good point. I brought this up. Like, Daryl Morey, what are you doing? This dude's mad at you for a reason. He called you a liar multiple times. And you haven't said anything, not publicly, but you haven't really trying to help calm the situation. So I don't know what's going to happen with this squad. What they're going to do? How they going to fix things? I'm going on record and say this: if and when they trade James Harden, I think Daryl Morey should be showing the door too, because he has kind of bungled the situation, kind of bungled that situation, a couple other things with this organization. Sometimes these guys and GMs come from the outside world. There's like a cap to them to a sense. Yeah, they can look at the numbers, analytics, all that stuff, but you look at people relationship, these dudes ain't it. And Darren Moore's case point number one. So, like I said, they should come off James Harden suit. They should trade him. Like, Kenny said, you try and ask for everything in the world, and longer this go on, the smaller your deal is going to get. And I think, James Harden's a free agent after the season, so got to do something here soon.
And that's my thing. You gotta. How long does this go? Like, I mean, because I don't see him playing for. I don't see him playing for Philly at all. I think that's over with. So he need to find some kind of package deal or something. Hell, we already hearing about, I guess, the Knicks putting a package deal for Joel Embiid. So, like I said, for me, kind of, you see what Milwaukee did to make sure that Giannis stayed there. So, if there is any kind of fear or thought that Joel Embiid may leave, why don't you start finding other pieces possibly or something to see if you can get Joel Embiid to stay. And maybe that includes, trading James Harden.
Let me throw this out there to you. Would you do a James Harden and Zach LaVine swap?
Ooh. I mean, if I'm Chicago, do I want to bring that on my roster?
Well, hell, they got nothing else to lose.
They don't. That's true. Shoot. I mean, I would consider it. Zach LaVine I think he would be perfect fit in the fact that you got your point guard in Tyrese Maxey. bring another shooter in. I don't know if that would be a trade that Philly would take, though. In my mind, I think Chicago probably would take it. I don't know if that's a trade that Philly would accept. Because, I think Zach LaVine could come in and as we talked about with Chicago earlier, they need to make some key moves themselves. But do Philly take that? Knowing the expectation that they had with the James Harden and Embiid, and they're obviously like the Brooklyn one with James Harden, like the rest of these trade teams they want an arm and leg for their player. They want to get the most from them, and sometimes that doesn't happen. But do Philly take that? Does Daryl Morey accept a trade like that? But for me, he definitely need to consider because Tyrese Maxey is playing outstanding to me. I like him and DeAnthony Melton. So you just bring another guy in. But I wouldn't be surprised also that if James Harden would not James Harden. I wouldn't be surprised if Philly tried to put a trade package together with James Harden and Tobias and ship both of them out of there.
And I thought about that too. Is like both of those guys are expiring contracts. You're not going to offer Tobias Harris the same contract you did years prior. You're not going to do that. So if you really committed to keeping Joel Embiid there and whatnot, strike when the iron is hot. Now you putting Tobias Harris in trade scenarios with James Harden. Who do you go after? I go back to the Bulls. DeRozan only last year's deal. And then if you do the swap with LaVine, you're getting his contract out the books. And then with Harris and Harden, if things don't pan out, you can flip them in the trade deadline or just buy them out for the season. And, you got that cap space there. You trade Vooch, and you kind of reset things that way. Only bad contract you have is Lonzo's. That's really the only bad contract you have. And only thing is like your draft position. But this ain't the draft to kind of tank for, in my opinion. It'd be like the next couple years with some of these other young kids coming out. So you clean out the books for the next couple years down the road, and then you get your rebuild process down that way. And then whoever you land with the next couple years and draft capital and all that stuff, for example, like a Cooper Flag who reclassified, who's going to make this decision go to Duke or Connecticut. You're talking about like a 6'10" forward, very athletic and shooting all that stuff. You try and set yourself for that kid right there. Other kids, the Boozer twins, all that stuff we discussed in the past. So, like you said, it may not happen, but with the Rhinestores though, they want these ownerships that are kind of like sleep at the wheel. And we see how this team is run. They sleep at the wheel. If you're a GM with them, you got good job security. But, you kind of handcuff in a way also to make this team better or do what you have to do to get to a team to a certain point. So I don't know. We'll see. But any final thoughts on James Harden?
He's been absent, and this situation has been going on for a while. I'm just hoping that at some point these two get to some results, because this is not anything new that we've seen from James Harden. We literally seen a man in Houston with a cat suit, with a Batman suit on, and then he comes out in Brooklyn. And then all of a sudden, a day or two later, he's in the best shape of his life. So this is no surprise. So, and Darren Moore knows this. So I would hope that they get this done quick. Whatever, find a solution and get it done, because the season just not started. This does not need to linger on too much longer.
So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that situation plays out. One shout out to that chat again. Shout out to Marcus Los, great. Shout out to Larry B, the founder of Ice Force Radio. Salute to y'all tonight. Before we get out of here, out of the rookies so far, who you are impressed with early on within the rookie class so far in this season?
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest, I like what Derek Lively has been doing, especially with a team that is somewhat loaded with talent. For me, it seems like he fits perfect with that Mavericks team. I like they have the length now, and he's a person that has definitely showed out. Obviously, Victor has been doing good. Another person I want to say, even though I guess you could say he's not necessarily a rookie, but NBA is different than NFL, is Chet Holmgren. I think that he's going to be a hell of a player. To pair him up with SGA and Josh Giddey, I think that OKC has a good young core. And there's other guys that they have. Those are just the ones at the top. And they still got all them damn draft picks, right?
Talking about OKC?
Yes.
Yeah, they still got those boatload of draft picks. And also they gained some in that Kevin Porter trade as well. So they got a lot of draft capital, and I'd be kind of curious what they're gonna do with them.
Correct. Very curious, because, like I said, you got your young core, and I know the Clippers got to be kicking themselves, because SGA is just now, he's here now, and I think that you pair him with the Chet, who's been playing outstanding. OKC has a lot of good pieces, and Chet coming in, like I said, Chet has been playing well. Derek Lively has just been one that, like I said, it is early, but noticing that, with the team, with the Kyrie and Luka, like it's kind of like he's fitting in. Their biggest issue obviously was the center position. They know what the hell he was getting with Dwight Powell. Max Cleveland, these guys at the forward in the center position didn't know too much last year. I think Derek Lively is going to change a lot of that, and it has been showing that. So I definitely like Lively. Victor playing well, as expected though. So this rookie class is going to be nice for a while. I think this is going to be a good group. But we see where the NBA is going. These bigs can damn near shoot a half court now. They can shoot from anywhere, and when you get to the guys that can do that, it makes it now the range of what your players can do is very important. So, but this rookie class, when you ask me this question about a month or two, I think we're going to see even more players kind of step up.
I think real quick for me, of course, Victor Wembanyama. I think he's been pretty solid out the gate. And the games I watched San Antonio, There's got to be a come to Jesus talk with Pop and those young other guys. I know it was early and stuff like that, but I think Pop's got to lay down the law. Like, hey man, Victor is our dude, and we got to run through him. And I know those other guys are nice, but those same guys been on the Spurs roster for years, and the Spurs have been in the bottom of the league for the past few years. And with Victor in tow, I think some point Pop's got like, okay, let's get things running through Victor and go from there. Because Memphis, they're 0-3 right now. Pelicans, they're 2-1, they're pretty solid. Dallas looking pretty good so far. Houston, I think still finding a way and all that stuff. So within that division, and I know we both of us had them pegged last, but if they can find some early success, early on, with Memphis being 0-3, you can take advantage of that, and you could possibly do some damage. Houston, I had Houston higher than you, but I could still see them kind of struggling. So if they can get the Victor thing figured out, sky's the limit for him. We see in the preseason what we can do. We see at early in the season what he can do. We give him the chance to take over and stuff like that. It's damn near magical. So hopefully the Spurs and Pop recognize that and kind of get that ball rolling early on. Brandon Miller, the second pick overall. I kind of wish he was starting, but it's the Hornets. But overall, he looked pretty good. The athleticism is there. They've been playing more in the backcourt and stuff like that. So as long as he keep that effort up, I think he'd be good to go in the season. Like you mentioned about Derek Lively, he's looked pretty good so far. Good fit for him, a good situation for him to be that center down low for this team in the future. That's kind of been searching for that since Luka has been in Dallas, and Lively can be that dude down low. I think they'll go a long way for the team down the line. Kleber, I forgot the other dude's name. I mean, they haven't been it, never will be yet. So, but if Lively can be that guy, I think they'll go a long way for them. And then Sasha Vezinkovich for Sacramento. I mentioned in the preview last week, what he's going to bring to the table as a quote unquote 28-year-old rookie from Europe. And so far, he's been pleasantly surprising, for Sacramento. 9 points so far, but been pretty effective in my eyes. So it's a guy that I kind of kept an eye on because Sacramento didn't make no big moves in the all season to trade away Richaun Holmes, but what this guy's going to bring to the table that a lot of people don't know about, going to the season. The Thompson twins, they look pretty good so far. Jordan Hawkins really starting to find his groove in New Orleans. Grady Dick had a good game last night. Kind of see more of him and get his bearings comfortable. For your Orlando Magic, I like to see more. I will give more chance to Anthony Black. I think he could be a good guard for y'all, and it seems like the other guys, in front, have been playing pretty well as well. I'm trying to pull up that stat. Where is it at? Like when y'all played the Rockets, that first game against the Rockets, Black only got like 5 points, but he also played 5 minutes as well. So it kind of shows his scoring ability and all that stuff that he can give to this team, in my eyes. But to go to your Orlando Magic, what do you think of them in that first game of the season?
It was kind of very. It was. I wouldn't say super duper surprising, but somewhat it was. I was expecting more from Van Fleet on the defensive side, but Cole Anthony, he played pretty well. And I really thought that was a good thing because now you come in with so much pressure on Ben Carroll to continue to be the rookie of the year and live up to those expectations. Now you got other guys coming in playing pretty well. I don't want to jinx it, but Jonathan Isaac played pretty good for the few minutes that he had. And this team looked like they're fairly young and they can cause a lot of damage moving forward. I think that one of our guards will probably be out of the loop. It is early, but I think one of our guards may get traded by the trade deadline. I mean, you're looking at Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, like you said, Anthony Black. And don't forget, we still got Jet Howard as well. So somebody's probably going to get moved. I think might be Markelle Fultz in my mind, just to give that, like you said, those minutes to Anthony Black. But I think Ben Carroll kind of started off kind of shaky at first, but he'll get into his rhythm. Franz Wagner is looking pretty good, but with a Rockets team that I feel like had a lot of good pieces as well. We held Van Fleet to a rough game for him shooting wise, and I vividly remember seeing Van Fleet cook on my Magic multiple times the past few years. So to do that, that shows that this team they're on the way to making those big improvements. And then obviously you go against it was the Trailblazers. You go against the Blazers. Anthony Simmons already ruled out. Now other guard Jalen Suggs, he cooks as well. He cooks this time, and then Mo Wagner comes off the bench and has a hell of a game. So this team is a very young team that could do a lot. If they can continue this streak, we got the Lakers tomorrow. If they can, continue to play well, I think they'll be fine. But that signing Joe Ingles. Again, he's probably there just for that veteran leadership, but he hasn't made too much of a big impact just yet. So, but like I said, I think that with the guard play, somebody may be on the move. And but hell, I like starting out 2-0, undefeated. That's a good feeling. If they continue to do that, I think we'll be fine. But just got to keep it going.
Yeah, I think they got to keep it going. I'm kind of curious to see how they play against the Lakers tomorrow. So, how Ben Carroll going to come out and match up against LeBron. How those guards can they, take advantage of the Lakers' somewhat slow guard play come out the gate. Rosen, it's been ho hum. Gabe Vincent has been ho hum. Reed's been pretty solid. Can they eclipse that? Can Suggs, Fultz, and Cole Anthony take advantage of that? And then, Franz Wagner, can he, take care of the matchup, against Torrey Prince. No Jared Vanderbilt is going to be out for a little while. For the Lakers. So, and then for the Lakers side of things, Rui Hachimura, if they're going to put the caps minute on LeBron, I expect better scoring averages out of him. So, I think that'll be those few key things for both teams. You mentioned about Jonathan Isaac. he played 8 minutes last game, but he's going to probably play for bigger minutes against Anthony Davis tomorrow. Can he step up to the plate? Or is Mo Wagner going to get those minutes? So, we'll see about that, come tomorrow night. But I'll let you have the last word.
It's going to be a good matchup. Right now, like I said, you're looking at Magic team 2-0, getting off to this start. The Lakers, who had a tough, outing first game against the Nuggets. Anthony Davis started out hot and then in the start of the third quarter. I don't know what the hell he did from third, fourth quarter. Didn't score any points. Go beat a Phoenix team without Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. It was just Kevin Durant. So you got that. And now they're actually playing Sacramento now. 9-17. So tomorrow's matchup is going to be big. You're looking at a team, obviously, with a lot of heavy hitters and the Lakers, and then a young team with with coming and making expectations as well in Orlando Magic. So it's going to be one to watch. And like I said, if they can pull off that victory, that'd be big. And like I said, the guard play is outstanding, which is what the Lakers have known to struggle in the past. So hopefully they can capitalize on
that. And we'll leave that there. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to go through the scores one more time on tonight's matchups. Clippers, Spurs finally tipping off. Clippers up 10-3 on that one. 5 points for Paul George, 3 for Kawhi Leonard. Early on for L.A. Colin Johnson, 3 points for San Antonio so far. Wembanyama 0 for 1 right now for the Spurs. And then the Lakers Kings are tipped off up in Sacramento. 4 points for LeBron James, 3 for Taurean Prince, 2 for Anthony Davis, 8 points for De'Aaron Fox out the gate, 7 points for Sabonis. So that guard issue at point guard with D'Angelo Russell, I'm not saying the Lakers can correct things, but it might be an issue down the line. So we'll keep an eye on that. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. Got a lot of good talk in, all that good stuff here. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
Y'all can find me at Black-813. Black the word dash 813. I will be talking about my Magic a hell of a lot more. I will continue to. But hell of a start of the season. Let them know they can find you on the show's page.
You can find the show's page at Fast Break IESR. That's Fast Break IESR on Twitter/X. I do have my own personal account, Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288 on there. Do check out IESportsradio.com. A lot of great shows on the network. A lot of good people who do a great job on this network. I do want to shout out to our brother Drewski out of Dallas. His Texas Rangers have made the World Series. I don't know if he's going to be at the game or not when they play, but do check him out. He's been at all these games. He was at the Dallas game today. Stars games, all that stuff, Mavs. Do check him out. Heart of Texas, he go live every Wednesday night. So do give him a good listen, especially if you're a Texas Rangers fan. But we'll be back next week. Oh, I do never show on the side of the Crooks Process. Find the show on Instagram and Facebook. The Crooks Process. You see the CP logo there when you find it. So do check out the Crooks Process there, and on TikTok as well. I did talk about the Tennessee Titans victory against the Atlanta Falcons on there. So do check that out. But thank you for tuning in with us. Ladies and gentlemen, next week we'll talk more NBA, college basketball around the corner. A lot of scrimmages happening with teams today. We'll see what happens with James Harden. You know, you never knew the NBA in-season tournament right around the corner. They've been promoting that pretty hard, so we'll discuss that and much more here on next week's show. Till then, talk to y'all later. Peace.